Shalom Aleichem. So we spoke in the last few days about going into risky places, dangerous places. Let's learn the halacha from the source. Where do we learn that it's asur to go to or to get involved in anything that's dangerous? So we all know that the Torah says that one needs to be nishmartem me'od lenafshotechem. One needs to be very careful about himself. He should make sure to protect himself. The problem is that the pasuk is not talking about that. The pasuk is talking about shechachat Torah, as the pasuk says over there. That one can take a look. It's in Dvarim. It's Perek Daled. We're talking about shechachat Torah or forgetting about Har Sinai, the Ma'amad Har Sinai, but it's not talking about putting oneself in a physical danger. It's not talking about that. And even the Mishnayot and the Gemara are emphasizing that. For instance, this famous Mishnah in Avot, Gimel Mishnah Chet, Perek Gimel Mishnah Chet, it says over there, כל השוכח דבר אחד ממשנתו, מעלה עליו הכתוב, כאילו התחייב בנפשו. One that forgets something of his learning, it's considered as he's taking a risk, מתחייב בנפשו. Where do you learn that from? The Mishnah says over there, כי שמר לך ושמור נפשך מאוד, פן תשכח את הדברים אשר ראו עיניך, which means it's not talking about one putting himself in danger, right, in any way, whether it is going to dangerous places, as we spoke yesterday, or smoking, which is extremely dangerous. Now they come up with studies that vaping is extremely dangerous. Anything that one does dangerous, or we spoke about going on the electric scooters, which is dangerous. All those things are supposed to be learned from somewhere. So if we learn this from the pasuk, ישמר לך ושמור נפשך מאוד ושמרתם מאוד לנפשותיכם, the psukim don't speak about that clearly. It says פן תשכח את הדברים אשר ראו עיניך. The Gemara in מנחות צדיק ט' עמוד ב' says כל המשכח דבר אחד מתלמודו עובר בלאו. שנאמר, רק ישמר לך ושמור נפשך, which means there's a lav also. Not only that, מתחייב בנפשו, it is also a lav in that. It's dangerous. And dangerous, and a prohibition, and a isur Torah. So that is if you forget one thing from your learning. You learn something in the Gemara, you're not allowed to forget it. The Gemara continues and explains over there, in the Mishnah also, that it doesn't mean that if you did everything in your strength and power to remember whatever you learned, you are violating this isur or putting yourself in danger, because it's only one that doesn't repeat his learning. If one takes it seriously, he learns something, and then he does chazarot, he repeats it over and over again, he does whatever is necessary in order to remember what he learned, then that's not the violation. But the violation is, as we explained, that one just sits still and idle and lets the learning be forgotten. That's where it's asur. The Ramban has mitzvot shechachat mitzvot that the Rambam, according to the Rambam forgot to mention. Rambam has Sefer HaMitzvot. He has the whole 613 aseh and lo taseh set up in order. And there's many Sfarim written on that. Sefer HaChinuch, for instance, explains each mitzvah of the Rambam. And the Ramban in the back goes through mitzvot that he thinks that the Rambam forgot to mention, should have been in the list. We mentioned in the past, if you remember, we mentioned one of the mitzvot is Kibush Eretz Israel, that the Ramban mentions that it's a mitzvah deoraita to conquer Eretz Israel. You're not allowed, the Ramban also says another thing, that you're not allowed to abandon the land for strangers. So today we'll mention this mitzvah, the Ramban in the second mitzvah in the Lavim, the negative commandments that the Ramban forgot to mention. In the mitzvah shniya, he says, "Shenimnanu shelo nishkach ma'amad Har Sinai." We're not allowed to forget ma'amad Har Sinai. Velo nasir oto mida'atenu. We should not let it be forgotten from our mind. אבל יהיה בעינינו ולבנו שם כל הימים, והוא אומר, again, the pasuk says, רק ישמר לך ושמור נפשך מאוד. So all these things, again, are not speaking about one that's putting himself in danger. So where does it come from? Where does it come from that we all know that putting yourself in danger is under the restriction of Yishamer lecha, Ushmor nefshecha meod, Ushmartem meod lenafshotechem, which is psukim in both of them, in Perek Daled, in Dvarim, right away in the beginning, a few psukim one from the other. So they're speaking about basically the same idea. The source for that is Gemara in Brachot. Brachot Lamed Bet Amud Bet. The Gemara says over there, Maaseh bechasid. There was a story with one chassid. Chassid, obviously, whenever the Gemara speaks about chassid, chassidim rishonim, it doesn't mean the chassidim that we have today with the Shtreimer and the Peot and learning the Sfarim of the Baal Shem Tov. That's not the chassidim we're talking about. That's way before that. Chassid means that a person that does lifnim mishurat adin, which means he doesn't do everything that's necessary according to the law, but he does more than necessary. That's called a chassid. So over here is maaseh b'chassid, which means a very righteous person. Shaya mitpalel baderech. He stood up to pray on the road. V'ba elav sar echad. The minister came to him. He was passing by. He came to him and he greeted him. He said to him, hello. And the chassid was in the middle of Shmoneh, so in the middle of Amidah, middle of praying. He didn't answer him. So he waited for him. The Sar, the minister, waited for him until he finishes praying. And when he finished praying, he approached him and he said that what you did is very wrong. Don't you know that the Torah said that you have to, nishmartem meod lenafshotechem, you have to make sure not to put yourself in any danger? What would stop me from cutting off your head if I wanted? There's nothing that would stop me from doing that. I could have killed you in an instance. So the question is, how did the chassid violate this prohibition that we're saying, that Tishamru meod lenafshotechem, nishmartem meod lenafshotechem? The Mefarshim deal with that. Whether he was absolutely sure that the minister is not going to kill him because he approached him in such a way that he said hello. Some say that he was so involved in his tefillah he didn't even notice the minister. Whatever it is, but you see a source from here for this idea that one has to protect himself, and never put himself in danger. More than that, the Rambam in Ilchot Rotzeach, Perek Yud Aleph, also posek this la'alacha, and also the Shulchan Aruch in the end of Choshen Mishpat also brings down exactly the Lashon of the Rambam, that one that puts himself in any type of danger, he would violate the Isur of Nishmartem meod lenafshotechem. The Maharsha asked this as a question. You see that the Psukim the Maharsha on this story in Brachot Lamed Bet Amud Bet, the Maharsha mentions that it seems like those psukim don't at all speak about protecting oneself, avoiding putting oneself in danger, and the psukim speak about other things, Shichachat Torah, Ma'amad Har Sinai, and so on. He leaves that in a question. So if he leaves that as a question, it is a question, and we really don't have an answer. We could come up with answers. Maybe that nishmartem meod lenafshotechem means all type of shmira from forgetting Har Sinai, but it's also shmirat hanefesh. We forget Ma'amad Har Sinai. It says over here that mitchayev benafsho. You forget the Torah, you mitchayev benafsho. So you see that one is not allowed to put himself in any type of danger. If forgetting the Torah is one type of danger, and smoking is a different type of danger. So all types of dangers one needs to avoid. Okay? So the question on that would be, and it's a serious question, the pasuk says, Shomer ptaim Hashem. Hashem protects those that are simple. They're not doing too many calculations, like this is asur, like this is asur. A person that goes about his day, and doesn't think too much, HaKadosh Baruch Hu protects him. He's a petty. Shomer ptaim Hashem. Therefore, for instance, whenever there's something that dashu bo rabim, many people do, we don't have to worry about, well, maybe it's dangerous, maybe I'm violating this isur of nishmartem meod lenafshotechem. We don't say that. Shomer ptaim Hashem. So how do you work out? It's a question that really takes us on every day. How do you work out this problem? In one hand, you have to nishmartem meod lenafshotechem. Can you cross the street? It might be dangerous. The cars. Can you drive a car? It might be dangerous. Especially in New York, you go on the belt. It's It's so dangerous over there. And on the other hand, it says Shomer P'teim Hashem. Don't worry about it. Go about your day. What are you supposed to do? You want to go to a trip? We spoke about going to trips. You want to go to a trip? Can you go to a trip thinking that Shomer P'teim Hashem, Hashem protects me? Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. Or whether you should say no, it's dangerous. Flights are dangerous. The roads are dangerous. And going to different places is dangerous. You go to places in the world, you don't know. So many people get hurt in different places. How should you approach that? So there is different ways the Mefarshim explain. The Binyan Tzion and the Mishneh Halachot says an answer that we mentioned over here in the past few times, and that is there's a difference between whether the danger is now or danger in the future. If the danger is right now in front of us, then you have to take things very, very seriously, even for chashash rachok, even though it's the danger is not is something happened right now. I'll give you an example. The Gemara speaks about a house that fell down, gal shenafal, a house that fell down. We spoke about this in the past. Now you need to take that very seriously. Maybe there's a person over there. You need to do everything that you can in order to make sure that there's nobody there in danger. Why is that? Because you have right now in front of you something that shows a danger, so shows a problem. There's a reuta in front of you. There's a problem right here in front of you. But when you go into a house, should you start thinking, you know what? Maybe the house will fall down. We did see houses that fell down. They cracked on people. Maybe they did. Should you walk into a house? Are you allowed to walk into a house? Maybe you should worry that you shouldn't. Something that is not, even if eventually a house will fall down. You see that they give this house, let's say, a certain bridge. You go on the Verrazano Bridge. Maybe they give us another 100 years, let's say. It's not going to last more than 100 years. But right now it's okay. You don't have to worry about it. But if something is already cracking, something is already in front of us, then you have to take that very serious. That also, if you remember, we mentioned a couple of days ago, the Noda B'Yehuda about learning or doing. We spoke about doing autopsy on dead people in order to save others for the future. You want to learn from that in order to learn for the future. The Noda B'Yehuda says, and the Khatam Sofer say, that you don't do that for the future because you menavel demet, you're not allowed to start cutting bodies unless there is somebody that needs it right now. That is the same idea. More than that, the Binyan Tzion that we're mentioning right now says, according to that you want to go, let's say, you want to travel, you don't want to take a flight somewhere, but you don't know, maybe that country will get into a war. Very likely, let's say, right now, the war is in Israel. You want to visit Israel. Right now, everything is peaceful. Everything is calm. There's nothing right now. It's on a halt. But you know something's going to happen in the near future. You don't know when. Do you have to worry about it? The Binyan Tzion says, if now it's okay, you don't have to worry for the future. You don't have to worry that something might happen in the future. You want to go visit, I don't know what. You want to go to Ukraine. You want to go to Uman. You want to go visit the kever of Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev. Could be that the Russians in the future will attack that area as well. Do you have to worry about it? Right now you don't. Right now you don't, so you're allowed to go to such places. This is the understanding of the Binyan Tzion and Mishneh Halachot. Other answers that we found over here are a little bit different. Maybe we'll go through them a different time, but they're all around the same approach. Something like whether it is the danger is imminent or is common or something that you don't have to worry about. Yes?
So smoking, what's the problem with smoking? It's not immediate danger. It's something after, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
Right, it's a good question. He's asking a very good question. So what are you saying?
It's a build-up.
Exactly. You're starting right now. It's not that you smoke and maybe the danger will come eventually. Smoking is known to be cutting days of your life. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to slowly destroy your body, whatever it is. Unlike, for example, if you drink a lot of Coke. Coke is also dangerous, but does it have to be? Not necessarily. It's just not healthy. Smoking is much more than that. It's something that we know for sure that is dangerous for the future, and you are right now building up towards that.